Dear learner, I welcome you all on behalf of School of Engineering and Technology, Indira Gandhi National Open University. Today I am going to discuss topic that is called three-phase induction motor. So as name is indicating three-phase, that means this motor is basically a AC motor. So this induction motor can be classified as a single-phase induction motor or three-phase induction motor. So in this particular session, we are going to discuss about three-phase induction motor. In this particular session, we will discuss types of the electrical machines like DC machines, AC machine, and what are the different types. Then this AC machine again can be classified as synchronous machine, induction machine. Then we will also discuss type of the three-phase induction motor, component of the three-phase induction motor, and what are the different type of rotor that are used in case of three-phase induction motor. This will also be discussed in this particular session. And how does this motor work? So we will also discuss working principle and then new term that comes under the three-phase induction motor, that is called slip, and where this three-phase induction motor can be used, we will also discuss in this particular session. So as you know, an electrical machine work upon the principle of electromechanical energy conversion. Means any machine, if we are talking about machine, so what is a machine? Machine is nothing but which converts either electrical energy into mechanical energy or mechanical energy into electrical energy, that is called electrical machine. So here our focus is to discuss on the motor. So we have to understand what is a motor. So motor is basically, you can say this is also a machine. So machine which converts mechanical energy into electrical output is basically called generator. And while machine converts electrical energy into the mechanical energy, or you can say when you are giving electrical input and you are able to get some mechanical output, that will be called motor. So as you know, the most of the load are inductive in nature. So induction motor is used for wide variety of household as well as in industrial applications. So here, because generally all loads are the inductive load, so here we are going to discuss the motor which are used to operate the inductive load. So that is a induction motor. So in short, we can classify the motor. So as you know, motor can be classified as AC motor and DC motor. So DC motor is what? In which you give some DC supply, then you will get some mechanical output in terms of the torque, that is called DC motor. That has already been discussed in the previous session in the in detail. And then this DC motor can again be classified as self-excited motor and separately excited motor. Self-excited motor means the supply which are being used to get the field winding, that supply comes from the motor itself, that is called self-excited motor. If you are exciting the field winding by the separate source, then it will be called separately excited motor. Then this self-excited motor can again be classified as series motor, shunt motor, compound motor. And how this series, shunt and compound motor are classified? It is classified on the basis of how the field winding is connected with the armature winding. If field winding is connected in series with the armature, then it is called series DC motor. If field winding is connected in parallel with the shunt motor, then with the armature, then it is called shunt motor. If there is both windings are there, series and shunt, then this type of motor is called compound motor. So compound motor can again be classified as differentially compound motor and cumulative compound motor. Then we are talking about the AC motor. So this AC motor can again be classified as synchronous motor and induction motor. So synchronous motor, as name is indicating, the motor which speed is constant throughout the operation, that is called synchronous motor, and the another AC motor is called induction motor, which works on the principle of the induction. So this induction motor can again be classified as a single phase induction motor and three phase induction motor. So our focus is here to discuss about the three phase induction motor. So in case of three phase induction motor, what happens? You give the three phase AC supply, and by the three phase AC supply you get the field, and due to some working principle you get the some desired torque that will be discussed in the upcoming slide. That is called three phase inductor motor. This three phase inductor motor can again be classified as a squirrel cage induction motor or slip ring induction motor. So now question arises, what is the need of induction motor? So as you know, three phase induction motor are the most common and frequently encountered machine in the industry. And what is the use of this induction motor? This induction motor are used widely due to its nature, because it is robust. That means no brushes are required, no commutator is required, so no contact on the rotor shaft. And second feature of this induction motor is high power to weight ratio compared to the DC motor. What is the meaning of this? That means if you want to use the same rating of the motor, that means suppose you are using 2 kilowatt DC motor and 2 kilowatt induction motor, so weight of the induction motor will be less in comparison to the DC motor. Third point you can see here, that is a lower cost per power. That means if you are using the same rating of the DC motor and induction motor, so in case of induction motor the cost will be less in comparison to the DC motor. Next advantage is easy to manufacture, because here no commutator are used, no brushes are used. That means here manufacturing is easy in comparison to the DC motor. And induction motor is almost maintenance free except for the wearing and other mechanical parts. Now we are going to discuss what are the different components of the three phase induction motor. So here you can see in the diagram that main parts of the component of the induction motor is a frame, that is also called enclosure. Then any motor, whether it is a DC motor or AC motor, so basically the main part is stator and rotor. So here you can see this one is a frame and this one is a stator and another one is a rotor. So stator will have some stator binding, of course, to develop the magnetic field, because here you are giving the three phase AC supply, so the nature of this three phase supply is rotating in nature, and the speed of this field runs ns, that is synchronous speed, is equal to 120 f by p, where f is what? F is a frequency of the supply, so generally in India the frequency is 50 Hertz, and p is the number of the poles, how many poles are being used for manufacturing this type of motor. So in the stator there is a stator binding, in the rotor there will be the rotor binding, then another component are the bearing and the motor shaft. So rotor will move on the motor shaft, and whatever you will apply the mechanical load, this load will be applied on the motor shaft. So what is the function of this enclosure or frame? The enclosure consists of a frame and two end bells. The stator is mounted inside the frame, right? So basically you can say enclosure is just like a house of anyone. In house there is stator and rotor. So the rotor fits inside the stator with the slight air gap separating it from the stator. The enclosure protects the internal parts of the motor from the water and other environmental element. Next part of the induction motor is stator. The stator is the stationary part of the motor electromagnetic circuit, and it is made of thin metal sheets. What is the use of these thin metal sheets? Basically, if you are making this sheet of the lamination, that means by making this lamination you can reduce the eddy current losses. So if you are able to reduce the eddy current losses, that means you are able to increase the efficiency of the any machines. Next is a stator binding. Basically, the coils of the insulated wire are inserted into the slots of the stator core. When the assembled motor is in operation, the stator binding are connected directly to the power source. Each grouping of the coils together with the steel core it surrounds become an electromagnet when current is applied. So what is the function of this stator binding? Stator binding are used to give the is used as a field binding where you will be able to generate the rotating magnetic field. As I already told you that this rotating magnetic field moves at the speed that is synchronous speed, and that synchronous speed is ns is equal to 120 f by p. As I already told you that this f is a frequency and p is the number of poles. Suppose if you want to check what will be the speed of this rotating magnetic field, and we are talking about that number of poles p is 2. So ns is equal to what? 120 f by p. 120 multiplied by 50 divided by 2. So it comes nearly 3000 rpm. That means this magnetic field moves at the speed of 3000 rpm. Now, as we are talking about the three-phase induction motor, so this three-phase induction motor can again be classified on the basis of the type of the rotor. So rotor, as the name suggests, it is a rotating part of an electrical machine in which current is induced by the transformer action from the rotating magnetic field. So I have already discussed how the transformer works. When you give some supply in the primary winding and due to the induction effect, EMF induced in the secondary winding. So the principle of this three-phase induction motor, how the electromagnetic EMF induced in the rotor winding is just like a transformer. Now this induction motor rotor can again be classified as squirrel cage rotor and bound type rotor, or you can say slip ring type motor. So as name is indicating, rotor is of type of the squirrel cage. That means it look like a squirrel cage, that's why it is called squirrel cage rotor. And second one is what? Bound type rotor or slip ring, where here slip ring are used in case of this type of rotor, that's why it is called slip ring. And what is the function of this slip ring? By the slip ring you can insert the external resistance in the rotor. So if you are able to insert the external resistance in the motor, so by which you can increase the starting torque. At the same time you can also control the speed of three-phase induction motor. So first of all we are going to discuss squirrel cage rotor. So in this type of rotor, the rotor binding consists of conductors in form of copper or aluminum bars embedded in semi-closed slots of the laminated rotor core. What is the use of this lamination? As I already told you in case of the stator, that laminations are able to reduce the eddy current losses. So to facilitate a closed path in the rotor circuit, both sides of the rotor bar are short circuited by the end ring. Here you can see this one is a shaft and this one is a squirrel cage rotor, and this one is a basically rotor conductor. You can see it is just like a rod of the copper, and here by the end ring it is a short circuited, so it will make the complete circuit. Here you can see the other view of how this conductor are connected here. So you can see this one is a stator and this slanting line are basically conductor. So here you can see this conductor are not placed along the shaft. So basically if it is not placed along the shaft, so it is basically called skewing. What is the advantage of the skewing? It will be discussed. Now we have to understand what are the drawback of the squirrel cage rotor. The squirrel cage rotor offers the following disadvantage. First disadvantage of the squirrel cage rotor is what? Low starting torque. That means this type of squirrel cage rotor, or you can say squirrel cage induction motor, are not able to generate high starting torque. So wherever the starting torque required is more, you cannot use this squirrel cage rotor. In this case you can use the slip ring induction motor. The next disadvantage of squirrel cage rotor is what? High starting current. That means starting current is very high. So if starting current is very high, so what will happen? This current may damage the binding of the stator binding as well as the rotor binding. Third disadvantage is what? Poor power factor. So if power factor is less, so what will happen? Because as you know, the power is equal to VI cos phi. That means voltage multiplied by current multiplied by the power factor. If power factor is less, that means the power that you are giving to the stator, that power will be less. Like you are giving a 1 kilowatt power input, and this power factor is suppose 0.7. So what you will do? 1000 multiplied by 0.7, so it will be around 700 watts. You are giving a 1000 watt power to the induction motor, but you are able to give only the 700 watt power. So now question arises how you can overcome this advantage of the squirrel cage rotor. Solution is skewing of the rotor bar. How skewing are useful? It can be discussed here. The rotor slots are usually not parallel to the shaft but are skewed. Skewing of the rotor has the following advantages. What are that advantage? It reduces the humming. That means sound will be less. That means it will ensure the quiet running of the motor. Second advantage is what? It results in a smoother torque curve. That means the torque fluctuation and the torque will be less. Third disadvantage is what? It reduces the magnetic locking of the stator and rotor. So if there is a locking between the stator and rotor, that means rotor will not move with respect to that magnetic field. So that means we have to keep in the mind, that means we have to reduce the magnetic locking of the stator and rotor. Next advantage is it increase the rotor resistance due to the increased length of the rotor bar conductor. If you are able to increase the rotor resistance, that means you can also increase the starting torque of the motor, because this torque is directly proportional to Ks Et square R2 upon R2 square Sx2 square. So you can see that means torque is directly proportional to the resistance of the rotor also. So if you are able to increase the rotor resistance, that means you can increase the starting torque of this induction motor also. So these all are the advantages of the three-phase induction motor if this skewing is done. Skewing means just you are putting conductor not along the shaft. Next is bound rotor or slip ring motor. So this type of rotor is also made of laminated, cold, rolled, grain oriented silicon steel. Why it is made of the laminated, gold rolled, grain oriented silicon? Silicon is basically a magnetic material, and it is laminated to reduce the eddy current losses. And because you are using the silicon steel, or that is a magnetic material, so you can also reduce the hysteresis losses. So basically in any machines, whether it is a transformer, whether it is a DC machine, DC motor, DC generator, synchronous machine, these two losses, that is called eddy current losses or hysteresis losses, which are called constant losses. So these losses can be reduced by, if you are making the core as a laminated, so you can reduce the eddy current losses. If you are using the magnetic material, that means you are using this cold rolled grain oriented silicon steel, then that means you can reduce the hysteresis losses. The rotor binding is distributed as well short pitch to get sinusoidal EMF output. So here you can see in the diagram, this is a bound rotor. Here you can see the slip ring. So all bindings are connected to this slip ring, and with help of the slip ring, you can put the external resistance to the motor. If you are able to put the external resistance of the motor, that means you can control the speed of the motor also. You can increase the starting torque of the motor also. The major difference between squirrel cage rotor and bound type rotor is the presence of the slip ring in bound type rotor, hence it is also called slip ring rotor. The three terminal of a star connected rotor binding are brought out and are connected to the external resistance through the slip ring. As I already told you, the advantage of external resistance is to control the speed of the induction motor as well as to control the torque of induction motor. This is a cut view of the three-phase induction motor. Here you can see this one is a stator, this is a frame or you can say enclosure. In the enclosure, the rotor and stator are housed, and this is a motor shaft where you will apply the mechanical torque. These are the brushes. This one is a slip ring, and with help of the slip ring and brushes you can connect the external resistance. This is a rotor and stator of the three-phase induction motor. So this basically, this outer part is a frame, this one, or you can say this is a enclosure. This binding that you can see here, this is a basically stator binding, and this part is a rotor, or you can say this may be the squirrel cage motor, rotor, or it may be the slip ring motor. So in this particular diagram, this is a squirrel cage rotor. Here you can see this one is a rotor, this is a shaft, this is a bearing. This is an assembly of the three-phase induction motor. Here you can see how this rotor is inserted in the frame of the three-phase induction motor. Here you can see also this fan. This fan is used to basically cool the this induction motor when the motor operation time of induction motor is very high, or operation time is very long. That means there will be a current, and due to the current heat will be generated, and if heat will be generated, so this binding may be damaged. So what do you need? You need some cooling mechanism, and thus for cooling mechanism this fan is required. Now we have to discuss the principle of operation. The motor work on the principle of Faraday's laws of the electromagnetic induction. According to this law, an EMF induced in a conductor due to the rate of change of flux linkage through the conductor. So as I already told you that the principle of operation of induction motor, similarly you can understand like a DC motor suppose. So any motor you need a Faraday law. What Faraday law states that rate of change of flux is required, right? So in case of three-phase induction motor, what is the beauty of this three-phase induction motor? Because you are giving a three-phase AC supply to the induction motor, and beauty of this three-phase is it is a rotating in nature. That means this field is rotating, that means it is changing in nature. If this field is changing in nature and if some conductor is placed, so there will be some relative change in flux linkage, and EMF will be induced. Here you can see in the diagram, this conductor plus is showing, that means direction of the current is inside of this paper, or you can say slide. Just you apply the screw rule like this, and you are moving in the clockwise direction. So this finger will show the direction of the magnetic flux. So here you can see this one is the direction of the magnetic flux. Here you can see this is the direction of the conductor, that means current is coming outward. So if you are moving, this is anti-clockwise like this one. You are moving the screw in the anti-clockwise. So this direction will show the magnetic flux. So this is a motion of the rotating magnetic field. Now this diagram is very important to understand how does induction motor work. Basically, just we are assuming here that this magnetic field is moving in the clockwise direction. Now you can understand, because this field is moving in the clockwise direction and this conductor is stationary. So if you see in the relative, this rotor you will feel this rotor is moving in clockwise direction. You can understand, like suppose you are sitting in one train and your train is stationary and another train is moving, then what do you feel? You feel like your train is moving, and the direction of that train is just opposite to the previous train. So similarly you can understand that this flux is moving in this direction. So what do you feel? That means this rotor is moving in this direction. Now you have a direction of the flux in this direction and motion of the conductor in this direction. Just you apply the Fleming right hand rule. So here you can see this first finger is the direction of the flux, and this thumb is the direction of the conductor of the relative field. So this middle finger will show the direction of the current. So this dot is showing the direction of the current, that means current is coming outward. Now what you have to do? Just you have to find out the direction of the flux due to the current in the rotor. So here you can see, just you apply the screw rule, or you can see that means this current is outward, so you will move in the anti-clockwise. So if you are moving, this screw is the anti-clockwise direction, that means this will show the direction of the flux due to the rotor current. Now you have a two flux. One flux is due to the stator binding and another flux due to the rotor binding. So just you are assume that the direction of the flux in this direction and direction of the current is outward. So because if you want to know what will be the direction of the motor, so just you have to apply the Fleming left hand rule. So you can apply like this. This finger is showing the direction of the flux, this middle finger is showing the direction of the current, so this thumb will show the direction of the conductor. That means this conductor, because we are talking about the single conductor, so there are number of the conductor in the rotor. That means this induction motor is moving in the clockwise direction. In the next half cycle, what will happen? All the direction will be changed. Direction of the stator winding flux will be changed. Similarly, direction of the rotor winding will be changed. But direction of the rotor will be the same. That means it's the clockwise direction. So this is the principle of the three-phase induction motor. So this concept of the slip, it will be discussed in the next lecture. So in this particular session, we have discussed the construction of the three-phase induction motor and principle of the induction motor, and how this three-phase induction motor is classified. This three-phase induction motor is classified on the basis of the rotor, squirrel cage motor and three-phase induction motor. In the next section, we will discuss the slip, then we will discuss the torque slip characteristic of the three-phase induction motor, and then we will also discuss what the different applications of the three-phase induction motor, and on the basis of this we will also discuss some numerical problem. Thank you very much.